All right, so what I wanted to start out with is just a little bit about me. So I'm Amanda Schaeffer. I am a Gold Ambassador with Plexus, and I joined in December of last year, and I've been taking the products primarily as a wholesale ambassador until I think in May I decided that I was not going to be going back to my other job and was going to work Plexus full time. So this is absolutely something that I'm very passionate about, I believe in from a business perspective, and I'm very excited to see kind of where it goes in the future. So it's been a great opportunity for me, and I know that for all of you that are on the phone that it will be the same. So what I wanted to start off with is just walking through a little bit of an agenda for tonight. So first we'll start with the goals. What I'm hoping to do tonight is really build your belief in Plexus and just know that this is an amazing opportunity and really start believing that and understanding a little bit more about the company, the products, the opportunity there, and that will absolutely help build your belief. I also want to give you some of the tools and the confidence to share Plexus with your friends, with your family, everyone, and then also challenge you to dream big. Dream big about what you could accomplish with this compensation plan. Dream big about what you could potentially obtain from a financial perspective with financial freedom, and just be thinking about what your team could look like in the future. So those are some things just to have as goals in the back of your mind as we're walking through this tonight. So the agenda that I want to walk through tonight, and I know that this has been a little bit different depending on which particular session that you're attending. And what I want to talk about first is, what is the back office? Why do I need it? What do I use it for? And then I also want to talk a little bit about the compensation plan, because I feel like it's how are you paying me? What am I getting paid for? I know a lot of people that I have join my team are like, I got money in my account and I have no idea why. I don't know what it's for. I don't know, when it's from. Help me understand that. I also want to talk about the different products. What is this product? What is it for? What does it actually do for me or for any of my potential customers or ambassadors? And also, how do I share this opportunity and these amazing products? How do I get the word out there that this is something that I'm doing now and the business that I want to share with you? And also, I think as part of that, really being able to find the answers to your questions, because man, finally someone asked me about it, but now where do I go if they have a question that I don't know the answer to right off the top of my head? And then last thing we're going to talk about is really, what is the best way for me to go about building my business and growing it into something that can give me that financial freedom, that can grow my team to that size. So that's kind of our agenda as we walk through tonight. The first thing that I want to talk about is really the compensation plan. Actually, I don't. Hold on. I want to show you the back office first. All right, so the first thing we're going to do, hold on, I'm going to have to share again. I apologize. All right, so you should now be able to see the back office. And this is my particular page. So I have my URL that I just put in here. Now, what's interesting is that every time you go into this page and you're looking for information about your ambassador account, is you're going to go to the upper right-hand side and just click on Ambassador Login. Then from there, what you're going to do is just enter in your actual ambassador ID, which should be either in the email that you got from Plexus or in the information that you got from your sponsor or your upline. And then you're going to go ahead and just enter in your password. Now, once you've logged in, I'm just going to walk you through the different tabs that are part of the back office and talk a little bit about some of the things that I think are the most critical, so that next time you go into your back office, you can kind of know where things are. We're not going to do a really deep dive, so we're not going to cover everything. So if you have other questions, absolutely this is something that you could talk to your upline about, or potentially even go look on YouTube for some other training. The first page you always come to is your home page. That's primarily just a place to see your latest announcements. You can also see some of your status dashboards, and this is just a different way to access the tabs that are at the top. So I don't spend a lot of time usually on this page. The page that you also can go to is Calendar, and what that's going to show you is it opens up a separate window, and it will show you the upcoming events that have actually been registered with Plexus overall. Now, this is really helpful, I find, when I'm looking for events that aren't in my city or aren't part of my personal team. So let's say my dad lives in Oregon. I wanted to find him a local meeting to go to, and you can actually go through and search these different events that have been registered and see what things might be coming up for someone in a different area. Very just convenient to take a look at. I will say that it's not comprehensive. It doesn't have like all the events that we have going on our personal teams, a lot of those other things that maybe people aren't publicizing to a wider audience. The next one is reports, and we're going to go back and talk about this page in a little bit more detail later, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it now. Now, the next tab that I find really helpful is resources. Again, that opens up a separate tab, and what that is really a place where you can get information directly from Plexus Worldwide. So this is information about the compensation plan, information about, ordering business supplies. It's also a place that has a lot of the different, what I would call frequently asked questions for the company. So if you click on that, you're going to be taken to a page, and you can actually do a search. And you can see they have specific areas that they're covering. So information about specific products, information about the overall company, technical support if you're having some issues. And then you can also actually do a search in here. So you could go in and you could search for, I need to know if Plexus Slim is gluten-free. Well, then you will actually come back with a response and say, okay, well, is Plexus gluten-free? Yes. All right, that gives you the answer to that question. So this is you looking for answers and you're getting questions that you don't maybe know. You can actually come to this as a resource and just look through it. There's a few other things that are part of this. You can submit a question. They have a few different downloads. The other thing that I usually use this for is either the knowledge base, so doing a question, or this is the best place to find the latest version of the compensation plan. So you can actually click here, and I didn't realize this, but they actually updated the compensation plan just this month. So you can click that button, it'll bring up the compensation plan, and you can look through either just the summary chart, or they have a probably 20-25 page document that details all the things I'm going to tell you about tonight, but in much, much deeper detail. So then if you look, the next item that you have there is really the shopping tab. This one is pretty important because number one, it gives you the opportunity to go in and place your own orders at a wholesale price. It's also the place where you can set your backup order. Now, if you remember, to actually get your commission and qualify for your commission each month, you have to have a backup order in place. Now, I have my backup order set. I just have it to where every month, if I don't get to my $100 PV, is that my backup order would be the triplex combo. But I wanted to just walk you through really quick how you actually set that up. And if you go through the process, it's very, very easy. And there's a couple of things I just wanted to point out. So I'm going to delete that order as it stands right now, and I'm going to set up a new one. And you want to make sure that if you do delete it, that you set another one up right away so that you are qualified. So I want to go ahead and stick with the triplex combo. So you just go through, just like you were normally shopping, choose the triplex combo. I'm just going to add this to my order. Now, I'm actually not ordering this right now. I'm just setting up my backup order. So I add it to my order. It brings my order up. And then I go ahead and I just hit continue. And what that does is it then gives me the option of choosing which day I want that particular backup order to go. And you can choose really any day during the month up to the 28th. And that's the last possible day that you can do your auto qualification orders. So that's one of the things that you want to keep in mind is, all right, do I need to make sure I make my 100 PV before the 25th or before the 28th? So I always choose the 25th. You absolutely could choose the 28th. Now, most of the time, I don't have an issue with ever getting my backup order because I'm always getting more than $100 from my customers purchasing throughout the month, or I've honestly placed my own order because I have other products that I needed in the meantime. And so what I have this set as right now is this is conditional. And what that means is that if I already have my $100 for the month, that order is not going to ship out to me. And I will tell you that in the last 8 months, I don't think I've ever waited for my automatic order to ship out. I've always had either over my 100 PV or I've already placed enough of my own orders that, you know, I'm over that threshold. But that's something to keep in mind. Now, let's say if you wanted to make sure that you got your products every month no matter what, you could change this to conditional no, and that would mean that every month on the 25th, that triplex would come to me no matter what. No matter if I had $100 PV, $20 PV, or $3,000 PV, it would come my way. So that's just something to keep in mind. So then you just hit continue, and then that sets it. It just tells you, okay, here's what your shipping is going to be, here's your tax, here's your total amount, and then this is my PV amount that I'm going to get for that particular order. And you'll notice it is above that $100, and that's the threshold that you have to hit in order for it to be a valid auto qualification order. So then you just hit update, and that'll take you back to your original screen where we were looking at the different orders. So now you can see I have on the top here my annual membership fee that I paid. And then here on the bottom, I've got my new auto qualification order. So that's the order that's going to go out each month if I don't meet my threshold. All right. So then the other thing you can always do is go in and you can do new order, which means you can just order products ad hoc throughout the month. I usually do that a lot. And then also the other item here is my orders. So you can actually see your past history of what you've ordered and what's come in your different orders that you've put through for yourself as an ambassador. That's always nice in case you forget, wait a minute, did I remember to order the nerve support? Did I remember to order my slim? You know, what do I have coming? The next item here is just around your account. So this is the information you provided when you originally signed up. This is your address, your phone numbers, credit card that you have on file to make your payment. So that might be something that you need to update. Your birth date, you know, all of your information. This is also where you go to access your ProPay account. And what that is the account that if you've chosen for your earnings to go to a card, like a little credit card, you can actually use this link to go to those accounts and look at those. You can also change your selection. So let's say if I wanted to change it to direct deposit and have it come directly to my account, I can make all of these changes here in this screen. Now, the other thing that you can see here on the bottom is, let's say if you wanted to use an e-check, if you weren't comfortable putting your credit card information online, this would be where you would enter that. Now, I will say that all orders placed with an e-check are held until the check clears. So that's something to keep in mind, that it could take you a lot longer, and your customers or new ambassadors quite a bit longer to get their orders if they choose that method. But I understand some people really aren't comfortable with anything other than that. So that's just something that for you to know is an option. All right, the next one was one of my favorites, is the e-wallet. And this does get a little bit confusing, but this is a place that stores money on your behalf. And I actually have this money being stored to help pay my taxes at the end of the year. And so what you can do is, if you click on To e-wallet from commission, you can set a percentage of every one of your paychecks. So we're going to get paid 5 times a month, right? You could potentially get paid up to 5 times a month, which is phenomenal and very exciting. But you get paid every Friday for any of your business building bonuses, and we'll go through those in a minute. And then you also get paid once a month on the 15th for your monthly earnings from the last month. And so for me, because I want to make sure I'm protecting myself for taxes at the end of the year, I ask for every check that I get for them to put 30% of that check away in my e-wallet, so I can kind of have a reserve for when I'm paying my taxes at the end of the year. That's just something that I personally do, because I don't want to have it like in my bank account where I can use it, but it's something that you could use it to set aside money for other things as well. You also, if you click on From e-wallet to, you can transfer this money to give yourself a credit balance to purchase things. You can also give it to your customers as a credit balance to purchase things and to any ambassador in your downline. So if I wanted to transfer money, let's say I was offering a special and I was saying, hey, if you order before this date, then, or if you get 5 ambassadors, you win a $10 prize as a credit balance towards your next product purchase. I could actually transfer some of these funds to one of my ambassadors downline, and in the future, they can choose that to help them pay for their product. So it's actually a really fun thing to do, and it's helpful as part of contests and things like that, because then they can use that towards their next Plexus purchase. So you can transfer it to yourself, you can transfer it to your customers, or to any ambassadors that are in your downline, which then takes us back to our reports. So on the reports tab, there's all of these different reports. I recommend that you guys, if you have a few minutes, just spend some time in here. Look around at the different options, look around at what's available, but I'm gonna walk you through a few different reports that I find to be the most valuable. So the first one is around your qualifications. That one's really important as an ambassador because that tells you every month whether or not, number one, you have backup order in place, and I do because you saw me just set one up, if I'm currently active, and what my total PV is for the month. So in this particular case, this is a combination of the orders that I've placed for myself, the orders that my customers have placed, and believe it or not, I'm going to get paid on all of that money. And you'll notice if you log into your back office right now that some of this text may be red, and it may have a little message for you. And what happens is, let's say it's the beginning of the month. All of that PV, all of those things reset back to 0. And so I'll actually see a message in red that says, you know, based on your current PV right now, you don't qualify for commission. And so what's going to happen is that as soon as I make, you know, my $100, it's going to give me that trigger, and it turns my text green and basically says, all right, based on all of your criteria, you actually qualify to get monthly and weekly commissions right now. So basically that means that those 5 times a month that they could potentially pay me, I'm eligible to receive that money. So that's just something for you to keep in mind as you're looking at the reports. This is one of my kind of go-to pages just to make sure that, hey, you know, am I qualified right now? The next one that I find really helpful, and the reason I find it helpful is it's the customer report. So if you need to know for the customers that have signed up with you when their next shipment is going out so that you can remind them, or if you need to look at their last order and what they've ordered, if you need to find their email address, all of their details for your customers are really on this page. So it's just something helpful to take a look at your customers, see where they're at, see if you need to remind them about their auto shipment coming up if they're a preferred customer. And for me, I also use it to track my contacts to see, okay, if I had a retail customer, how can I convert them into a preferred customer? How long has it been since they last ordered? Oh, I have a couple of these preferred customers. They've gotten 4 or 5 orders now. I really should be talking to them about becoming an ambassador, because I bet that based on the success that they've had with their products, that they're going to be really excited to actually join the company and start sharing about their journey. The next report that I like is the financials report. Now, at the end of every month, you'll probably see on your team pages or maybe in your uplines pages, they start posting about, hey, financials are available. Let's see how much money we made last month. So there are 2 different types of reports available here. One is your weekly report, and that'll tell you all of your information about your business building bonuses that you would get paid every Friday. And then the other one is the monthly or end of period report. And what that's going to do is that's going to tell you, hey, based on all of these different ways we pay you, which we'll talk about in a little bit, here's how much you made last month. And this is what it's going to be. So when you choose these different things, you can choose the dates. And then you just click that, and it actually pops up a separate window that you can take a look at and see like what money you've made, what's coming in, all of those things. So it's a great resource just for looking at financially where are you at right now. The next page that I really like is around your ambassador genealogy. So this is once you start growing your team and you actually have people in your downline and even people that are signing other people up, this allows you to kind of see what that organization looks like and it'll tell you a few things. So if I run my report, I'm going to run mine for my first 3 levels. So that's me, the person I signed up, and 2 more people beyond that. And I process that list. This is going to give me a listing of all of my levels 1 through 3 in my personal downline. And you can see here there's a few different colors that are present. So if you look, you have someone who's a green line. Well, what does that mean? That means that that person has actually just signed up this month to be an ambassador. So that's something to keep in mind, is that that person has purchased, either purchased a welcome pack, or they have customers already signing underneath them, etc. If they're a blue line, so what that means is that they've been with you for more than a month. So they joined, you know, let's say today is the 10th of September. They maybe joined you in August, or like Katrina, she actually joined me back in March. So I can actually see when she's joined me, I can see that she's currently active. And because she's blue, I know that she has her auto qualification on. And if you look here, she's actually giving me 5 points, because if you look, her current PV is at almost $170. So she's actually worth right now to me 5 points. And again, I'll tell you when we get to the compensation plan what that means, but that's exciting. So you can see a little bit of information about your ambassadors here. So you just use that report. Now, what you might say is, all right, well, who are these people that are in white or tan lines? Now, those are ambassadors that were signed up on my team at one point, and now for one reason or another, they're no longer an actual active qualified ambassador. Now, what that means is that they don't have an auto qualification order on, so they're not getting their product every month, and that they don't currently have any PV. Now, something that you'll notice as you go through is that, all right, well, you might have someone who's a white line, and they actually have enough PV to be worth 5 points. Well, if you don't tell them to put their backup order on, then what's going to happen is that they're going to not get the commission that they could have just because they don't have a backup order in place. Now, they may have $500, $1,000 PV, and yet they're not going to get their commission just because they don't have that order in place. So that's something to keep in mind, is just be very aware of this list. And I'm telling you, I look at this list every day. And I'm sure as you start growing your teams, you're absolutely going to be doing that, because it's a great way to stay informed and see kind of where your team is and what they're doing. All right. I think those were the reports I wanted to cover. Yep. So that's really your back office. That's some basic things about that. As I said, if you wanted to get into more detail, you absolutely could. I mean, there's always more to discover. My Plexus Builder, I'm not going to talk about tonight, but that is something that if, let's say you didn't want to have people landing on your basic page, so if you didn't want them coming to this general Plexus page, you can custom design an entry page for them to come into. You can also use that to track some of your contacts and things like that. It's not a tool that I've used extensively, but it is something available to you if you're interested. All right, so I am going to jump back to the presentation. And so next, I really did want to talk about the compensation plan now, because I've given you all this information, and yet you don't really know what any of those things mean yet. So let's talk about the first way that Plexus pays you money. Now, Plexus pays you money in 11 different ways, and we're going to talk about those, but I'm going to spend a little bit more time on this first slide versus some of the other areas that you need to be a little higher up in the company to actually start realizing some of those ways they pay you. So the first way, sorry about that, I don't know why it's jumping around. The first way that you get paid is these business building bonuses. So if you remember, I talked about the fact that hopefully when you joined, you purchased a welcome pack. And that welcome pack is worth either $100 or it's worth $200. Well, half of that cost of the welcome pack is paid to the ambassadors. So let's say either $50 or $100 if you buy the $200 pack. Hold on just one second. I'm going to try to stop this from doing it. All right, so then what that means is that if you sign someone up, you're going to get paid, and the person above you that signed you is going to get paid, And above that, they're going to get paid. I mean, it basically goes up for about 4 levels. So you plus the 3 people above you that signed you up and so forth are actually going to get paid a portion of that welcome pack that your new ambassador purchased. So that's the first way. Now, the second way is really around Plexus pay points. So remember how Katrina was worth 5 points to me. Well, for my level 1s, hold on, I'm just going to try to stop this. It keeps jumping from the next page. What's going to happen is that every point that you get for your level 1, you get different points for your level 1 through 3. And then you also get points for your level 4, 5, 6, and 7, depending on kind of where you're ranked right now. So let's say from levels associate through gold ambassador, you get paid on levels 1 through 5. Beyond that, for senior gold and ruby, you get paid 1 through 6. And if you're emerald or above, or senior ruby or above, you get paid for levels 1 through 7. So what that means is, let's say you sign up and your organization gets really, really deep. At some point, once you get past that 7th level, you're no longer going to get paid for those folks. But the great news is anyone in those levels 1 through 7, you're absolutely going to get paid for. So what they do is that every time someone meets their $100 PV, which is their point value, or basically kind of the money that you've spent every month and how much each of your products is worth, you're going to get 5 points for each of the ambassadors that meets that threshold. So remember, they had their $100 PV that they made. As soon as they hit that threshold, they're worth 5 points to you. Now, with those points, what Plexus does is they take kind of the earnings for the company for the month, and they split that up, and they determine, okay, now we're going to create pay points, and those are assigned a dollar value. So each point is worth a certain amount of money. Now, Plexus has a policy that will never be less than $1.80 per point, but it's been averaging for the last little bit around $3 a point. So let's say for that, five points, I'm getting $3 for each of those individual points. And that actually starts to add up pretty quickly. And you can see that for the different levels, let's say you have 100 points. Well, that's going to add up pretty quickly. And think about it as a diamond ambassador, just for pay points. They have they have to have a minimum of 4,500 points to get to that diamond level. And that means that if it was at $3 per point, that they would be making around $13,500 per month just from their pay points. And that's in addition to all these other ways we're going to talk about. So that just gives you an idea of how much those pay points are worth as you start adding ambassadors to your team and they start meeting that threshold for the $100. All right, so the third way that you get paid is every time you get a promotion, Plexus pays you. So for a silver ambassador, once you get, that's just 3 ambassadors that you've signed personally, you actually get a $100 bonus. Next level, for a gold ambassador, you'll actually get a $250 bonus. And these promotion bonuses go on until you've reached the emerald level. So once you basically get to those levels, you're actually getting paid each time you get one of those promotions. So that's great. Now, the fourth way that you can get paid is, let's say you're absolutely on fire. You walk in the door with Plexus and you kind of go crazy, and you can actually get to some of these promotion points very, very quickly. So if you do these things in the first 30 days, get to either gold, senior gold, ruby, or senior ruby, then what happens is every single one of these bonus levels, they actually double them. So if you were to make gold in 30 days, to give you an example, you would get double the silver bonus and double the gold bonus. So what that means is that you would get, in 30 days, you would get a $700 bonus versus just the $100 or $250 when you make it. But that's only if you do it within the first 30 days. So that's something to keep in mind. that if you're really early in your journey and you think you can meet some of these goals, this is a great way to make some extra money and get these bonuses and really get that momentum going very, very quickly. So the next way that you can make money, number 5, is really around these commission rates. So think about you have your personal volume that you're earning every month. So remember, that's on your purchases. That's based on the purchases from your customers, either preferred or retail. And you're going to have a certain amount of money that you bring in from those folks during the month. If that money is between $0 and $99.99, you're not going to get paid any commission because you really haven't gone over your $100. But as soon as you get over that $100 threshold, so anywhere between $100 and $499, you're eligible to earn a 15% commission on that money. So you would basically earn that 15%. Then let's say if you have a lot of customers buy, you place large orders during the month, whatever happens, and your PV gets above that $500 mark, you're going to be making a 25% commission from the $100 all the way up to whatever amount that you make for the month. I love that because as soon as you make that $500 mark is you start really seeing a larger commission. So it's really important every month as you're looking at your commissions is just to try to get over that $500 threshold. Okay, so we're finally going to the next slide, even though it keeps wanting to go there without me. The other thing that you can get money from, number 6, is really around your retail override commissions. Now, remember when we looked at my downline report, some of those people were my level 1s. That means that I personally signed them up. And any money that they make between $0 and $99, I'm not really going to get any kind of compensation for. But as soon as they're over that $100 and anything above that, I'm going to get 5% of their commission, of their PV. So what that means is if, let's say, they were to make $100 over that or $1,000 over that, I'm going to get paid on that money as well. And they still get their 25%, but I get 5% of whatever they bring in as well. And then the other thing, so you might be thinking, well, this sounds like it's great to have ambassadors. Doesn't sound like it's as good to have customers, but not true. With preferred customers, you get some really great bonuses. And what you can see is down on this list down below, and this again, this is on the compensation plan, that actual spreadsheet that we saw. And this will tell you for each of the different customers that purchase on a preferred basis, purchase these products for more than 3 months, you actually start getting paid bonuses for these customers ordering these products. So if you have someone who on a monthly basis is a preferred customer of yours and is ordering the triplex combo, then you're actually going to get paid $20 every month that they order that product combination. So it's great. Because then as your preferred customers keep ordering, you're going to continue seeing bonuses come into your paycheck every month with this amount, depending on what products they're purchasing. So it's a great additional way that you're bringing in those bonuses for each of your preferred customers. It's also the reason that you really do want to make sure that you're trying to encourage people to sign up as preferred customers. Because keep in mind, not only do you get a bonus, but after they've purchased the products for 3 months, their 4th month, they start getting a 10% discount. So really, it's beneficial for everyone. All right, so the next couple of levels I won't talk about too much. But if you look, the next few things that you can do, as soon as you hit the emerald level, you'll see you don't earn a one-time achievement bonus anymore. Instead, you actually start participating in the emerald pool. And that's actually 3% of the overall company earnings. That's huge, right? Same thing, as soon as you go to the sapphire level, you get the emerald pool, plus you get the sapphire pool. So you're making even more. And then when you get to diamond, you actually get the emerald, the sapphire, and the diamond pool that you're getting in your paycheck. So those numbers can get really big really fast. So it's really awesome. And then the last thing, the 11th way that they pay you is that you can actually get to the diamond level. And at that point, you can re-enroll yourself as your own level 1 ambassador. So we actually have one ambassador in the company who is a double diamond, which means that she achieved the rank of diamond, then she re-enrolled underneath herself, and her second identity actually made it to diamond as well, which is incredible when you think about, remember I told you just for pay points, that was $13,500 a month, and that's for both of them, right? So just be thinking that there's absolutely some huge benefits as you get further along. All right, in addition to all of that I just talked about, those 11 amazing things, is there are some additional Plexus perks that are phenomenal. So once you reach the Emerald level, you can actually get a stipend for Alexis, and there's a couple of different ones available for Emerald ambassadors, and then you have a different one that you qualify for when you get to Diamond. And then they also have, on a yearly basis, I just won a trip to Washington, D.C. for our Leaders Retreat, and that's something where we're going to go. They pay for the hotel for the entire weekend. It's a great leadership opportunity. And then as soon as you reach Emerald level, you actually get to go on a week-long trip or a few-day trip out to Maui on the company's dime, which means they pay for the flights. They pay for everything. I mean, it's quite the experience from what I understand. So I'm excited to get there. So those are the amazing ways that they pay us, which is awesome. So the next thing that I wanted to talk about is, all right, well, now I know how I'm going to make money. But what I don't know is all about these different products. So that's something that I want to talk a little bit more about right now. I'm not going to go through a whole product presentation because, believe me when I tell you, that would be so long. So we're not going to do that. But I'm going to give you some hints about exactly where you can find more information. And then that way you can start educating yourself. Because I think that knowing the products, knowing what they're for, knowing what things you can really recommend to your customers and your ambassadors is really key. Sorry, I'm trying to get it to stop switching by itself. So really, the first thing you need to be thinking about as an ambassador is that you need to be a product of the product. So this will help not only build your belief, but it will also help kind of build out your testimony. You need to know your Plexus products. So there's a lot of different methods you can use for that, and a great number of amazing educational pieces. So you can use your Plexus back office, you can use the Plexus Worldwide website, also your team pages, the files that are on there that I'll walk you through in a minute, as well as YouTube videos. Those are all great sources to take a look at. So then also make sure that you're looking at understanding how to use each of your products so that not only can you see optimal results yourself, but you can also help your customers figure out what's going to give them the best results. You can use the testimonials and information on the team pages to help educate you around, okay, well, for this particular thing, what should I maybe recommend for this customer or for this ambassador? And that will just help you get more comfortable with sharing and helping even identify what different people you should be talking to about these products, what they could potentially do for them. There is a person that I recommended here on the bottom of this slide. Jennifer Pickett has a ton of stuff on YouTube. You can just go in and you can search her name and Plexus, and she has a lot of different videos about the different products, about what she sees them being best for, how they work, a lot of different informational content that I think is really, really helpful for just getting to know the products. So that's just something to keep in mind. And then if you have specific questions about products, I usually just go through and search for those, and I'll walk you through how to do that in a little bit. But I just search for those and see kind of, all right, well, let me look at a particular ailment. Let's see what most of the people who have that are taking. So if I have a friend who has IBS and they say, hey, Amanda, what do you recommend for it? I might go through and look at a couple of different testimonials for people who have IBS and say, okay, based on that, this is what I would probably recommend for you, because people who have the same issue that you do are finding great success using these particular products. All right. The next thing I wanted to talk about was really about, all right, so now that I know my products, now that I figured out my back office, and I know how you're paying me, I'm really excited to start sharing, but how do I do that? So one of the big ways that I think that Plexus has grown and grown so much so quickly is using social media. Now, for me, I know that that's primarily been Facebook. Some of you may be a little bit more technologically advanced or into some of these other social media outlets. So Instagram, Twitter, any of those where you're actually reaching out to your potential audience and actually reaching out to them via social media. But just some tips for doing that. I think it's a great way. It's absolutely will not replace getting out from behind your computer screen and actually talking to people, but it also is a great way to start getting your message out there and getting people familiar with Plexus. So you want to make sure that you're being really consistent and persistent about sharing. So familiarity, it really does breed comfort with your audience, and they'll see it. Now, even if they're not responding, even if they're not commenting, no matter what, they are noticing. So also make sure, though, that your Facebook page doesn't turn into like Plexus all the time, right? You still need to make sure that you're continuing to post about your family, your friends. Basically don't abandon who your original Facebook audience was. Keep in mind that they care about you, they care about who you are. It's not just about hearing about Plexus. They still want to hear about you. Don't share other people's posts. And what I mean by that is that doesn't mean don't use them. It means don't use the share button that's sometimes below that particular post. And the reason why is as soon as you do that is number one, it references them back to the person who originally posted it. And then number two, it really takes away the personalization. So what I always make sure I do is that I might copy the actual message that the person wrote. I might then save the picture, and I'm going to repost that exact same thing, but I'm going to add my personal touch to it. So that's just something for you guys to keep in mind is, don't just share it and think that people will respond to it. Make sure you personalize it. Why is it here? Why are you talking about this today? And then also, really, this is so important, especially as you start your journey, is don't worry about offending others. These products, this company, this business opportunity, it is absolutely a blessing for so many people, and it's saving people's lives almost literally. So don't be afraid about what people are going to say or how they're going to react. Absolutely share it. And you know what? If they really were to get frustrated, they can always unfollow you. They can always, I suppose if worse comes to worse, they could unfriend you. But there's a lot of ways, especially now, that people don't have to see as many of your posts if it really is something that's bothering them. But you always want to reach out to your whole audience, because you don't know, maybe today I have absolutely no interest in Plexus, but 3 months down the line, my father comes down with some type of horrible disease, and I remember that I saw you post about Plexus and Plexus doing something with that. Well, then I would want to go back and follow up with you. And suddenly it becomes something I am interested in versus not interested in. And I will tell you that this is absolutely something that they've been drilling into us, is that those who post the most frequently are the most successful. I included down below a great message, a great YouTube video from Melissa Eichenhorst, and I'll post this presentation so that folks can access this. But she really talks about how to use Facebook, a lot of these same tips and things a little bit more in depth. So also, don't get discouraged if you don't have someone and tons of people responding to each one of your posts. Just remember what I said. People are noticing even if they're not commenting, even if they're not posting or responding. Make sure that you're using different types of messages. So don't do just all straight testimonials. Don't do just all product information. Start mixing it up. Have different types of posts in there. Also, make sure that you're engaging with some of your other Plexus folks. So you could put out, please share your testimonial about how, Plexus has changed your life. And you can just have them enter it all in the comments. And then a lot of your regular friends or non-Plexus friends will actually go through and read some of those comments and see like what a difference Plexus is making in real people's lives that are responding to you. So make sure that you also friend any new person that you meet. And what I mean by that is that you want a way to grow your network. You want a way to expand your audience for Plexus. And so every time you meet someone new, let's say you're out and about and you run into someone and you strike up a conversation, get their name, get their information, and then friend them on Facebook and say, hey, it was great meeting you today. That way, and I like how one of the double diamond I was talking about earlier, what she says, then I'm not pressured to vomit Plexus all over them the first time I meet them. Because then they're going to come onto my page later and they're going to maybe look and see more about Plexus, but then I don't have to be out there, beating them over the head with the Plexus message. Also, make sure that you're posting pictures from the different Plexus events that you go to, conventions, talk about the trips that you've gone out to. It really helps kind of build some excitement around that. The last thing is really make sure you're keeping a great social media posture. And what I mean by that is that, it doesn't work if you 1 minute say, I woke up and I'm so tired, I'm so sick, and blah, blah, blah. And then an hour later you're posting, oh, these Plexus products make me feel so amazing. It's just, you have to worry about contradictions. And one of the things Melissa says in that video that I posted here is that, use your business, use your Facebook page, and think of it as this is your face of your business, and be thinking about that no matter what you're posting. So just something to kind of keep in mind. So someone actually reads one of your posts about Plexus and they're suddenly interested in getting more information. So now what? I mean, are you calm about that because you already know what to do, or are you panicking? So what the first thing that you want to do is, if they express to you that they're interested, is add them to the health and weight loss testimonials. I think most of you guys are on that. If you're not, let's talk about it in the Q&A. But that is a great place. It's for Team Eichenhorst, and it has a ton of great testimonials. And what this allows people to do is it allows them to see other messages that are much more, well, they're not from you, right? So it gives you more credibility because there's a lot of other people. They've shared a lot of different struggles. They may see someone that has a similar issue that they do, that they can identify with, and suddenly they're much more comfortable with talking to you and getting involved in Plexus. Ask them either to send you their email address, and then there is actually a Plexus information email that I'll show you in the files later, or private message them directly. What I do not recommend is, let's say they ask you a question in Facebook and you just answer it right there in the comments, because you know what? You're missing an opportunity, because let's say another person might have looked at it and they might have had that question too, but now you've answered it in the comments. So I always make sure that if anyone comments on my posts or asks a question on my posts, that I say, thanks so much, like I say, oh, so-and-so, I sent you a private message, let me know. And that way, number one, people know that you are responsive, that you are responding to people's questions, but then it gives you the opportunity to know who all is interested. Because of course, if someone else has that question, they're probably just going to private message you directly because they're like, well, I didn't get the answer. I want to know too. And then that way it starts building an opportunity for you to have dialogue with these different folks. And the next thing is that allows you to put them on your list. And you need to be making lists, because the biggest thing that you need to be doing is following up, and following up over and over and over again. They actually, there's a great graphic, and it shows that most people do not make a decision to buy something until between the 9th and 12th contact about that particular thing. That's incredible, right? I mean, how many of us are like, well, I talked to them about it twice, they didn't buy, so I'm out. Like, I don't want to bug them anymore. Well, no, like that is the whole purpose of this business. And there's so many people that have finally come back after so many contacts and so many months and said, hey, I'm ready to buy now. Hey, I'm really interested in that opportunity now. So make sure, though, that you're keeping a track of those people so that you can easily follow up with them. That means people who inquire and actually ask questions. That's people who like your posts. Even your no's, like people that you talk to and actually give you a no, which by the way, is not going to be a very big percentage of the people. And then also keep in mind that you should be building out your list of who is your potential to either bring in as a customer or an ambassador. And that could mean there's a bunch of different methods that you can look into. And one of them is the Frank's method, and that's talking about, friends, relations, acquaintances, all of those different things. It gives you ideas and prompts around, who else should be on your list that you should be pursuing proactively and not just waiting for them to respond. All right, so then what I wanted to do is I wanted to just show you guys real quick. So the big thing is that, well, what if they ask me a question that I don't know the answer to? And of course, when you're brand new, there's probably going to be a ton of questions that you don't know the answers to. So what I'm going to show you right now is just a great way to search for Plexus questions and answers. And there's a couple of different places that you can do that. One is that, let's say if I were to go to, I'm going to go to Steph's Plexus Gems. I think everyone on the call should probably be part of that group. There are these great files. And if you had a particular question or you wanted to know, okay, remember that email that you're going to send out to someone, well, what does that say? I need that information so I can actually respond to someone. If you look in these files, once you click here, it actually gives you a list of all of these great resources that you can go to and actually get this information and share it and use it however you want. So it's a great source of information. Now, the other thing that you can do is if you see this little magnifying glass up here on the right-hand side, now this is only available in groups, but you can actually search things. So let's say you have a customer, a potential customer, and they have a smoking issue. And you say, okay, well, I need to know, does Plexus help with quit smoking? Well, you can type in quit smoking here. And what that'll do is it'll bring up anything in this particular page that talks about quitting smoking. And so you can see, someone asked, are there any testimonials for stop smoking? And you can look at the comments, and there's a bunch of different great testimonials or information about where to find those testimonials around quitting smoking. So that's something that is something that you can do within the team pages. Now, if let's say you look through and you do a bunch of different searches and you don't find that answer, the other place I like to go to is the health and weight loss testimonials. Let's say if I have someone who's suffering from a particular issue or disease, I always go to this resource. And I go to this page and I could just type in, let's say, arthritis. And it'll actually bring up a lot of different testimonials specifically that have that word arthritis in them. And then what I'll do is I'll read through those different testimonials and I'll figure out which one most closely relates to the person asking me the question. So whether it's, okay, this person's asking about osteoarthritis, this person's asking about, so this person actually has degenerative arthritis. Okay, well, this is a perfect testimonial to share with them about Janelle's success using Plexus for this exact same thing. So it's a great way to find testimonials and things to share, like with your prospects. The other thing that you can do is that, let's say on your team page, you searched everywhere, you can't find the answer. And what you actually can do is on your team pages is that you could post out the question to the group. So, here's a question from Jen, she's asking a question that she didn't find the answer to anywhere else. So it's a great way to either look for different responses or to find different things. But before you do that, you're always going to want to make sure that you search through the files, through the team pages to figure out, more than likely, your question is not a new question. So you just need to search and figure out, okay, well, what was the answer to that when the last person was curious and asked? So you can also just go through and look at those. Your other source, if you have a question you can't find an answer to it, is to really start asking your upline. And the reason is that a lot of times, especially if it's a question that may be sensitive or something like that, you may not want to put it out there to the large group. So go to your upline. They're usually more than willing to help you answer any question that you have. You also, let's say you're looking for something kind of obscure, you can go into the box at the top of Facebook. This is specifically in Facebook, but you can actually go in there and you can put in, so remember I had that question about the arthritis. Let's make sure I can spell it right. And I can search arthritis and plexus. And then what it will do is it will search through not only all of my friends, but it'll also search through any public posts. And so this is a great way to find out more information that may have been posted on someone else's page. So if you'll notice at the top, and this is something that Facebook just did, but they divided it. This is posts from my friends and groups that I'm part of. And then down here, this is actually public posts. So these are things that people posted that are out on the internet at large. So this is another way that I search a lot just to find out more information. And let's say I read this and I find a particular person that I'm really interested in, I'll usually do a little bit more research and try to find them either individually just to verify their particular testimony or whatever, just to make sure it's all legit. So that's going to be probably your best ways to find out information once someone actually is interested and wants to hear more from you. All right. So those are some great ways to search. So the next thing, so think about growing your business. What is your best way to do that? Well, I will tell you the best way to do that is to build belief. And that is something that you need to do for yourself. You need to do for your potential customers and ambassadors. And the way that you're going to do that for yourself is there's a couple of different things I'm suggesting here. Is you need to develop your belief in this industry. From a multi-level marketing perspective, you need to understand why this is such a shift from a traditional company and why it's so amazing and there's so much potential here. You need to start believing in and building that belief in this company. I'm telling you that they absolutely one of the best executive teams I've seen. They have one of the best compensation plans. It's unbelievable, but you need to build that belief for yourself. So take a look at the YouTube channel for the company. Look at the compensation plan in detail and you'll see how awesome it is. Also look at other videos from the other executives within this company. They absolutely are all out there, all supporting the company itself. I think another great way to build belief in this company is to watch the Diamond documentaries. And you can access all of those from the Plexus Worldwide site. And they have, underneath the Diamond level recognition, they have all of the different documentaries that are available there. And it's really great to watch those. Also, we already talked about really building your belief in these products and what they can do for you. And then really, it's not just the products themselves, but the impact of these products on people's lives. I would say, most of us may have started this set of products for weight loss, but the reality is that the other health issues that it has helped address have been so much bigger. It's like, yeah, it's helped me with my depression, it's helped me with my anxiety, it's helped me with my thyroid issues, it's helped me with my PCOS, and oh yeah, I've lost some weight. And it's almost like it becomes something so much more than just that weight loss. So really think about and start learning more about the impact of the products, not only for yourself, but for other testimonials. And in these pages, you'll see so many amazing things. Also, I think one of the biggest things for growing your business is that you have to grow yourself. So you have to personally develop, you have to develop your leadership skills, because this is not a business that you can just be wildly successful all by yourself. So you need to build those leadership skills so that you are personally developing, you're personally developing who you are and who you're going to be to lead your team. Think about your why. Why are you doing this? What is your motivation for this business? Because that will absolutely help you on some of these tough days where you have some doubts, which happens to everyone. Remembering, why are you doing this? For me, I'm doing this because I used to work a crazy job where I was working 70 or 80 hours a week, and I didn't have a personal life, and I don't want that anymore. I want to be able to spend time with my family. I want to be able to spend time having a life and not just living and working. So just really think about your why. keep going to these trainings. I applaud all of you for being here tonight. I mean, it's something that you absolutely will be able to use in the future to build your business, build the people that you bring on. Look at planning, plan out your schedule, plan on when you're going to work this business, and set goals. On a monthly basis, I sit down and I set my goals for that month around what I want to achieve from a PV perspective, what I want to achieve for how many ambassadors I'm going to bring into my team, how am I personally developing myself, how many trainings am I going to go to throughout the month, how many am I going to lead. So it's really going through and setting those goals, because guess what, if you don't know where you're going, you're not going to get there. You're not going to be able to achieve those things. So those are some great ways that you can build your belief. I'm not going to go through this next page in detail, but there are a bunch of other ways that you can start growing yourself and growing your business. Go to local opportunity meetings when you can. Go to the trainings. We already talked about that. They've got great weekly opportunity calls, and they have those not only at the corporate level, but also Destination Diamond has a weekly call where they have a jewel come on and talk about something, a topic for that particular week. Make sure you're reading the testimonials on a regular basis. It doesn't have to be daily, but on a regular basis, so that you're seeing how these products are changing people's lives, and it gets you so excited about the potential. And honestly, it triggers also other people in your life that may be struggling with some of the same things, that you can suddenly reach out to them with that particular testimonial. Make sure, we went through the compensation plan at a very high level, but get to know it a little bit more, and it'll get you excited because there are so many ways to make money. We talked about reading the Diamond documentaries, but also read books about the industry. Attend any of the live training that you can about the products, about the business. Look at a ton of different YouTube videos, and now they even have Periscope, so you can follow people. Periscope is a little app. And it just pops up when there's different people giving short little videos, and they have different topics, and they're very interesting and very informative, and can be. We went through the files and looking at those magnifying glasses to find things. So educate yourself. What activities do you need to be focused on to be successful? And then once you've done that, say, am I doing all of those things? Am I actually pursuing what's going to make me money? And truly make the decision with this business to be all in. Because if you haven't made the decision that this is a business, I'm going to be working it, even if it's part-time, it just can't be sometime, but as long as it is part-time or full-time, that you are all in about this business. It's so important, because then it will help you not kind of lose your focus. The thing that you do want to think about is that one of the best ways to grow your team is the power of 3. And what that means is that you focus on recruiting 3 people, and then they focus on recruiting 3 people, and then those people focus on recruiting 3 people. Your organization very quickly starts to expand. And the reason that I recommend this approach, and honestly, I will admit that I haven't been great at it within my own team, but the reason that this helps so much is that if you start teaching that type of behavior, hey, I signed up 3, every person signs up 3, I'm going to help you sign up your 3, get you to silver, right? Number one, it gets them money right away, and your team will start to grow and expand very, very quickly, and it will help you achieve all of those different levels on a faster pace. I included on here because that's obviously a very high-level overview of the power of 3. Sheila Medina did a great training at convention this year about it, and actually there is a video available that you can go in and watch and just get more information about the power of 3 and how amazing that is as far as a way to grow your organization. So let's talk about some final keys to success. So just like I mentioned, work your business. You can work part-time, just not sometimes. You have to be consistent. I just did recently, figure out what times you have available each day to work your business, and then schedule out those times. So I just did an exercise where I took my week, I broke it down into segments, and I said, okay, here's the hours that I'm going to be working my business. And then I put into place, like, what activities am I going to be doing during those different time frames throughout the week. And what that did is it helped me be really focused on the times that I am working my business, that I know exactly what I'm going to be doing during that time. So always, like we talked about earlier, be looking for opportunities to grow your network. Not only making sure you're talking and socializing and getting more information from people while you're out and about, but for me, I've actually found some specific networking opportunities where I'm going to be looking for people specifically to go after. Educate your ambassadors. Make sure that they're coming to these types of newbie trainings, that they're getting the information that you now suddenly have, and make sure that you're duplicatable, right? You don't want them coming to you for every answer. You don't want them coming to you for every question that they have a customer or ambassador ask them. So you need to make sure that you're passing along that knowledge and you're building a leader in the next level, because otherwise, if you're doing it all, you know, that's not what this type of business is about. Make sure you are educating all of your customers and your wholesale ambassadors on how to take the Plexus products. So remember that knowledge that you're building up around your products. You're going to want to pass that along to the people that you're bringing onto your team and make sure that they're taking them correctly, because guess what? They're probably not going to see a lot of success. They're probably not going to keep buying them if they're not successful. And they're not successful because, oh, well, I didn't know when to take them. I didn't know how to take them. I didn't know that I needed to drink water. All of those things. So just make sure you're educating them. And keep in touch with your customers. Those are your absolute best chances for flipping to ambassador, right? Those are the people that once they've been taking the products, once they're excited about what it's doing for them, they're going to want to share it. And you know what? Make sure you're following up and asking them that in maybe like the second month email. And then ask them, if they start sending you referrals, say, you know, I'm more than happy to sign this person up, but why don't you just become an ambassador and then they can be on your team? And suddenly you start seeing people and they're like, oh, well, yeah, I'm giving you money. Why am I giving you money? I should be getting the money myself. And it actually encourages them and they see that opportunity a lot more clearly. So make sure that you are educating all of your new ambassadors about some of these same things, right? You've got to train them. You've got to make sure that they're ready to go out there and kind of hit the sidewalks. Make sure, I have a lot of friends now that are Facebook friends that I've met through Plexus. You know, some of the most important people in my life right now are people that I didn't know until I joined Plexus, and they're absolutely now some of my best friends and people that I talk to, you know, more than other friends that I've had for much longer. So make sure you're really friending those others that you believe you can relate to and leverage even the posts that they have available. Also, make sure, like we talked about earlier, figure out your why and make sure that, number one, you're communicating that to the people that you're signing on your team, but then also with your new ambassadors, make sure that you are finding out what their why is so that you can help support them in achieving their why within this business. So those are the final keys to success. There's obviously a ton more that we could cover, but we're already 10 minutes over. So I am going to stop sharing now. And I'm gonna go ahead and stop the recording. And well, I'll let it go and then I'll just unmute everyone so if you guys have questions. All right, any questions?
Any questions?
Great job, Amanda.
Thanks, Kathy. Hi, Erin.
Love the slides. They were fantastic.
They were great.
I will share them with whoever has to do this next week.
Good.
All right, so if anyone has any other questions, I am more than welcome. You know, you can reach out to me one-on-one. I don't want to make this go on longer than it has to because we're already over time. So thank you, everyone that was able to attend tonight or that watches this in the future. And go Plexus.
Thank you, Amanda.
Thanks, Amanda.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.